Right. It is the 59th, almost 60th, wow, episode of the Runnin My Mouth podcast. I am your moderately well rested host, Aaron, and allow me to run my mouth for a little bit. I say moderately because, listen, I don't know if it's just a getting older thing, but it's been a while since I felt like actually well rested. But that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're here to talk about today. I just had to think of something to say for myself in the beginning, and that's what I got. Also, something that I realized is that this episode goes out the day before Thanksgiving, which is interesting. You know, the day this goes out, it's going to be Wednesday. What is Wednesday? The 26th. And I know a lot of people, well, actually, I don't know if a lot of people do this, but there are perhaps some people who are already where they're going to be for Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving. That's how I usually do it, because driving on Thanksgiving, I just don't like it. Also, I don't want to be the person, okay, who everyone is waiting for to show up for Thanksgiving dinner, which is more like Thanksgiving lunch in my household, because we have it at around like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And there have been times where we've had to wait on family members to get there because they're traveling on the day of, and I don't want to be that person. So I show up the day before. And, I can't even remember really talking about Thanksgiving in any meaningful way on this podcast in previous years. Let me just scroll back. There was that time. I don't know how I keep forgetting this, but I have just constantly been forgetting this. But there was the year, this is 2023, not that long ago. I did talk about this on the podcast, but not because it was Thanksgiving. It just happened to happen around Thanksgiving. But the time that I went to Hawaii for Thanksgiving in 2023, I don't know how I managed to forget about that, but that happened. And that was like a whole thing that was just weird. I'm not even gonna lie. It was a weird trip. I like being in not Thanksgiving. I like being in Hawaii. I would like to go back someday, but it was a weird trip. I'll just say that. What was the title of that episode? Aaron's Bizarre Adventure, parentheses, in Hawaii. And that came out December 6th, 2023. So that was after Hawaii, not after Thanksgiving, not necessarily in the lead up. Anyways, all that to say, some people don't get along with their family. Shocking, I know. So perhaps you're using this episode to avoid them the day before or even the day of. And if you are using, I don't know, the excuse of watching a podcast to avoid your family, I don't really have anything profound to say, so I don't even know why I brought that up. However, if you aren't beefing with your family and you are with them, play this on play this on the TV in the living room and take a picture and send it to me on Instagram at Jackson Underground. I won't do anything. You're not going to get money out of me for it or anything. I do think it would be kind of funny. Just saying. So yeah, if you are playing this on the TV, which by the way, I've looked in the back end, I do know that there are people out here watching the video version of the pod on TVs, which is like cool, but like, am I, I'm in your bedrooms, I'm in your living rooms, I'm possibly in your living room right now. So if that is the case, hello, viewers, mom and dad, and aunt and uncle, and potentially 2 sets of grandparents. What's up? Why did you let your family member put me on the TV? That's kind of weird. Is there like a football game going on or something? I don't know. People love football. I couldn't even talk to my mom yesterday because she was watching the freaking Jackson State game, and I didn't even wake up late in the day or anything. She texted me at, I don't even know when, like 8 in the morning. Because I talk to my mom every Saturday. I've been doing this honestly since I've been in college, since I've been away from home. I'll call her every Saturday morning. That's like our thing. But she texted me Saturday morning being like, hey, we gotta talk either later today or tomorrow because the Jackson State game is happening. And then I call her at like 4 o'clock thinking, okay, well, if I can't talk to her in the morning because of the football game, then surely it'll be done by 4 o'clock. No, it's in the second half. Like, how long is this going on for? Listen, I don't really like football. I don't watch football. I don't go to football games voluntarily, but like, I don't know. Football culture, I feel like my mom didn't used to be this into football. Maybe it's because we're all out of the house now and she like needs a hobby, which like slay for her. But I don't know. I don't remember her being this into football to the point where I couldn't talk to her at 8 in the morning because she's not even watching the game, getting ready to watch the game. She wasn't even traveling here because it was a home game. Jackson State was playing in Jackson, but she wasn't even here for it. Uh, anyway, how did I get here? Oh, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow as this episode is going out. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just a thought, I guess. Anyway, let's just jump into it. We're gonna have a little bit more to talk about, but we still have a lot to talk about, in my opinion. So, where we left off from last episode, where I had to record it that Saturday instead of that Sunday, was the Hawthorne Heights show at Hal and Mal's. And I knew it was going to be a pretty packed show. I was never really, I guess I sort of never heard of Hawthorne Heights before, I don't know, recently, I guess. But there were a lot of people there. So much so that, number one, I already knew parking was going to be just horrific. Just in a state. You know, if you ever been to Hal and Mal's, which I'm sure many listening have, the parking situation isn't ideal. It's not even really ideal for like Sunday brunch. And especially now that the walk-in is over there, the parking situation is just worse. So I feel like at some point, since, you know, they're doing a lot of stuff in that little downtown area, that they should expand parking, or I don't know, actually pave the parking lot. Because there's Martin's, which is across from Hal and Mal's, and their parking is just like a little gravel lot. Like, it could be paved, you know? And I wasn't trying to park over there because, like, if there was even any inkling of my car getting towed, I'm not with that. Because they'll tow your car. They won't even boot it. They'll just tow it, which, I mean, booting, that doesn't really happen when you're parked somewhere you're not supposed to be. I think that's more of a you didn't pay a parking meter type beat. But either way, we're not in Atlanta. We don't have those two girls in the shiesties being the lock-picking lawyer and unlocking the boots on people's cars. We don't have that here, to my knowledge. Because, I mean, they don't really boot cars here, to my knowledge. I've never gotten my car booted or towed, so it's like, I don't know. Maybe they are doing this. I do know they tow. Booting, not sure. Either way, but also, if your car does get booted, you could just take the tire off and put the donut on there and, like, deal with it later. Which, I mean, I guess whomever would be looking for their boot, but anyway, I knew the parking situation would be crazy, so I was going to be like, okay, I'm going to get there right at door time, because in my eyes, you know, I was at Hal and Mal's for Gideon, I was at Hal and Mal's for I Hate God, which I thought Gideon might have had maybe a bigger crowd, and I Hate God, I guess, is like a little bit more niche, but still, those are still two very well-attended shows, and so I was like, okay, I won't do what I did then and come, like, you know, 30 minutes before showtime. I'll come right at door, or like maybe 10 minutes before door, and just, like, you know, sit in the parking lot and, I don't know, be on my phone so I won't have to sit around with my thumb up my butt in the venue. So I get there right at 6:30 because I think that's when doors were. And to my surprise, the parking lot was, like, completely full. So, like, I drive all the way down, and then there's, like, the little overpass thingy that people park under sometimes that's low-key kind of sketchy. That was all full, and I feel like if I would have gone in there, I would have blocked somebody in. So I was like, no, I can't go down there. So I drive back, and it's like the heavens opened up. There is a parking spot that I guess somebody had just left out of, because I drove past it and it was full, but then I drove back and it was empty, and I got in. I got a pretty good parking spot somehow. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm God's favorite. That's a possibility. I don't know. Either way, I managed to park But then I actually get to, up the little steppity steps, and there's a freaking line. And like, I've been to many shows at Hal and Mal. Some of them have been smaller, local shows. Some of them have been bigger acts. But there's never been a line. There was not a line at Gideon. Which, to be fair, for that, I went there like after door time. So there might have been a line before the doors opened up. But when I got there, it was not that packed. I've never been there when there was a line. So I was like standing in line at Hal and Mal's, and I was like, oh, this is big. Like this is a lot of people. And I think there was also maybe a VIP package that was sold as well. So yeah, I was waiting in line, and it was cold. And oh, I almost forgot about this part. I was standing in between two freaking cigarette smokers, and that pissed me right off. I hate cigarette smoke. Just the smell of it, like I just can't breathe when people are smoking cigarettes. Like, I hate it. Like, vapes are one thing. At least they dissipate. But cigarettes are just the worst. And the person directly in front of me and the person directly behind me were both smoking cigarettes. And I hated it. And I was like, I'm going to have to wash every single garment that I'm wearing because it's just going to stink. So that was a bit unpleasant. But eventually their cigarettes ran out. So I was like, oh, finally, some fresh air. As fresh as the air can be in downtown Jackson. But still, not essentially smoking two cigarettes at once, because that's pretty much what that is. Anywho, eventually we get in, and we're in the big room, and I had never been at a show in the big room. We used to have the brew pub. Those shows were fun. And then the red room is where, like, pretty much every show is now. I know they have stuff, like, in the dining room of, like, the actual restaurant of Hal and Mal's, but, like, that's like, kind of background music. If there's someone playing in the dining room, then that's kind of the purpose. It's to be live entertainment while you eat. It's not really the main event, unfortunately. So I have actually been in the dining room while there were people playing. So yeah, I guess the big room was the only room that I hadn't been in. So I get in there, and it's pretty big, and I am also blessedly able to make my way to the front without having to, shoulder and elbow anybody. And that's basically where I'm parked the entire time, because, it was a packed house. Like, it was so full. I don't think the show sold out, but it was very full. And I was able to get a pretty decent spot at the front. But the only thing about the big room at Hal and Mal is I like the red room. I like the lighting setup of the red room specifically for picture taking purposes, because I feel like the pictures usually always come out really nice and colorful. I am sort of limited in the color palette because the pictures do also come out very pink. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a little limiting when it comes to when I edit the pictures. But let me tell you something. During this show, I was fighting for my life with my camera settings because of the lighting setup. Like, it was just too bright almost, which is crazy. Like, I was, the way that I take pictures, I always take pictures on manual, except for this show, because I had to throw in the towel at some point and be like, I can't figure out how, what to set my shutter to, and what to set my aperture to, and what to set my ISO to make it so that these pictures aren't too freaking blurry, because my little hack to get my pictures to show up, or not show up, but come out. What did I just press? I just pressed a button on my keyboard. I'm gonna push you away. Come out the way that they have been recently, which the way that I figured out how to do this was completely on accident. But this is a group activity now. If you will go to my Instagram and honestly just look at any picture after, what show is this? June 21st. That's when I started taking pictures like this on purpose. So what I do is I set my shutter like really slow. I don't know if it's not seconds. It's like, well, maybe it is seconds actually. Maybe like 3 to like 8, I think. Okay, that's not seconds. Okay, if you're on a camera and you're on the shutter speed, it's not a fraction of a second, but it's like the, what do you call it? Quotation mark, the 0 quotation mark, and then the second. I Don't know what that's called. I know it's not a full second, but it's what it yeah. I set it on that, and then because it lets the shutter be open for a little bit, but I also use my flash in conjunction with that. And so instead of it being like really blurry because of all the motion, you get, you know, something captured quickly. I'm not explaining this very well at all, just work with me here. I get something captured quickly with the flash, and then I also get motion blur with it, and it ends up being really nice and colorful, and I can really punch up the color in post, and that's what I've been doing lately because I really like how it looks. But trying to do that in the big room at Hal and Mal's, I don't know, I guess it is just the lighting setup because they had, I don't know, I can't really 100% remember the lighting setup because it's been a couple weeks, but all that to say, I was fighting for my life in there trying to take pictures. I did get some ones that came out, I would say, pretty decent. But like I said, after a while, I just had to put it fully on auto, including the ISO, which I usually don't put on auto, but I had to go fully auto because I was like, I can't get anything other way, any other way, you know. So that was like, that was a learning moment for me. I don't know what I learned. Maybe what I learned is that shooting on auto is okay sometimes. You know, I do pride myself on the fact that I have figured out how to shoot fully manual and make things look halfway decent, but sometimes you just got to put it on auto, and that's okay. You know, that's perhaps fine. But the lighting setup was particularly tricky for that. Either way, despite all of that, I still thought I got some really good pictures, and I like the fact that I was right up front, and I was not the only one there taking pictures. Also, I was low-key, I mean, there wasn't anything to indicate that this wouldn't be the case, but I was, like, kind of nervous that maybe I wouldn't be able to take my camera in because of how big of a show it is. And I know that, you know, I have seen on, I guess, writers or, I don't know, like, writers for certain bands that they don't allow other photographers sometimes. Because a lot of the times, you know, even in like smaller shows, like smaller local shows that I've been at, you know, the bands will have their own photographers. Even here, you know, for local bands, I'm talking about bands that travel, they'll have their own photographers sometimes. And then bands here do sort of have their own photographers. So that's not like outside of the realm of possibility. But I was also thinking, like, what if they don't let me take my camera in? I mean, I was just gonna have to, you know, put it in my car. And thankfully, it wouldn't have melted because it was so cold, but you know. So, opening up for Hawthorne Heights that night was a band. Where's my cursor? Okay. But does this work? No, it doesn't. Not on my computer. Okay, I found I found out on accident that if you press Control twice, not on this version of Windows 10 that I have for some reason, but it'll like highlight. Oh, you know what? I wonder if that's Power Toys. Because I have it installed on my work computer, but not on my home computer. Anywho, opening up for Hawthorne Heights was, first it was Shadowboxing, which is a band from Biloxi, Mississippi. They are kind of an alt band, and I would say I like them. Yeah, I would say they were pretty good. Honestly, their vocals were also very clean, very good. I like that as well. And I think they said they mentioned, oh god, I think they mentioned that they had a split EP with Susio, perhaps. I can look this up. Let me see. Well, the only link here is the Spotify. So let us see. Well, okay, if they do have it, it's not on here. Is there a Bandcamp? Is there a Bandcamp? Let me see. Okay, I look up Shadowboxing Band, and it's a lot of stuff about boxing with resistance bands. So if you're into that, then Mazel Tov, I guess. Band MS. There is a Facebook. I feel like I should have looked this up beforehand, but I didn't. You know what? That's okay. Let's see. No. I thought they mentioned they had a split EP. Maybe they do. or don't. Or maybe I made that up. Anywho, shadowboxing. And then after them was Susio, who is from Jackson. And I've seen them once before. And honestly, I like some of their songs. They have actually quite a bit of merch. They have like bumper stickers. They have shirts, of course. They have tapes for their first EP. Let me see. I'm trying to find you the name of that EP. Here it is. It is called... That's not it. Oh my god. You'll Wait an Eternity. Yes, that came out last year, and they have tapes for it, which I could probably see if they have a Bandcamp. Hold on. Susio. Here it is. Here is the Bandcamp. Is there merch on here? Well, yes, there is. There's 3 different tapes. There's a green one, there's a purple one, and I think this is just a regular one. Oh, and the green and the purple one are $30. Oh. Oh. Okay. Wait, no, this is a bundle. This is a bundle. False alarm. It has the tape, the shirt, a tote bag, and a bumper sticker. All of that is $30, not just the tape. I can't read. The tape itself is just $10, which is pretty standard. Oh, so the green and the purple, those are the 2 editions, and then they have bundles for the green and the purple. Got it. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. I thought they had a split EP or something. I think Shadowboxing said they had a split EP of some sort, but I legit can't remember. Either way, they have some merch. They also have tote bags, but those are not for sale on the Bandcamp, but I have seen them before. So yeah, that was that. And they were also selling merch that night, but that night, as well as many nights, I find myself recently, I'm broke. So I did not even glance towards the merch section because that wasn't happening. It just wasn't happening. And then there was the main event. Did I say what I thought about Susio? I don't think I did. I thought they were pretty good. Yeah. Unfortunately, it has been, 2 weeks? No, 2 weeks, yes, before or since this show happened, so because of that, I do forget things sometimes, but my overall feelings, I felt like both Shadowboxing and Susio did a pretty decent job, and I remember enjoying their music. And as for Hawthorne Heights, I also thought they were good. I can't remember how long their set was, but it didn't feel like it lasted forever or anything like that. In fact, I can't remember what time I made it home that night. It wasn't super late. So yeah. What do I think about Hawthorne Heights? Clearly, a lot of people love them. Clearly, they are pioneers in the emo genre. Not really the Midwest emo genre, which I think I might like that a little bit more. I think I might like Midwest emo, like that sound a little bit more. Like, why can't I think of it? Oh my god. Why am I blanking on the name? I have the tape. It's in my living room. Hold on. It's also in my Spotify library. Scroll down. What is the name of this freaking... I don't know why I have forgotten it. That's embarrassing. Where is it? Did I scroll? I think I scrolled past it. Okay, hold on. Scroll back up. Crap. What is the name of this? Why can't I think of it? Hold on. I can't have scrolled past it twice. Anyway, they're a band from Hattiesburg. Come on. Defla Service. That wasn't even on the tip of my tongue. That's crazy. I really like Defla Service. I really like the Hotelier. Ooh, perhaps a deep cut for some people. But I got really into the Hotel... Well, I got really into like three songs by the Hotelier. Hotelier? Hotelier. It's one word. It's not the hotel year. It's like the hotelier. But it's not that. It's the Hotelier. In Framing... The Scope of All This Rebuilding, and what is the other song? Life and Drag. Those 3 songs by the Hotelier, like, I feel like, I don't want to say soundtrack of my childhood, because that's I don't like that phrase. I don't know why, but the phrase is corny to me, unfortunately. But despite that, it is sort of the soundtrack of my teenhood. Like, I listened to The Scope of All This Rebuilding, and I remember being 15 again. And yeah, that's really that. So I think I gravitate more towards that kind of emo versus perhaps Hawthorne Heights, which I don't know. You know what I can do? Every noise, noise.com, which I don't know if I want to digress about this website, but I am going to use it to look up the HEIGHTS genre of /genres of Hawthorne Heights. You got Screamo, pop punk, Dayton indie, neon pop punk, whatever that means. I feel like Dayton indie, that's like so specific. Like, yeah, okay, they're from Dayton, Ohio, but like, how many other bands are from Dayton, Ohio? Probably a lot. It's Ohio. But let's see. Screamo, pop punk, none of these are emo at all. Let's see. Why on earth is this not? Oh, okay. Emo, screamo, post-hardcore, pop punk. Okay, that's fun. Okay, I've never seen this part of the website, actually. Usually I just go to the, I guess, like, genre cloud. But basically, Every Noise at Once, I'll say was, because, the functionality to make this website actually function sort of doesn't exist anymore. Also, the person that made it used to work at Spotify, but was laid off, and therefore I think also no longer has, like, access to the API for, like, the genres and stuff like that. So basically, what Every Noise at Once is, and I found this, like, way back in the day. Like, I feel like I was browsing on the Internet is Beautiful subreddit, like, bored in high school, or maybe even, no, bored in high school one day, and I found this website. But basically, it takes every artist and, like, every song on Spotify, and it takes, I guess it's metadata. There is a thing that explains how it works on the website, but, like, I'm not about to read all that out. And it takes that and it categorizes it so that every song, well, maybe not every song, but, like, the majority of songs that are classed under one specific, and these are very, very specific subgenres as well. Like, we have, I'm just looking at the front page, funky house, organic house, let's scroll down, Detroit techno, let's scroll down further, reggaeton, which that one's, the size of it is larger because I guess it's a less, I don't know, it's a less narrow genre. Then we have Pinoy EDM. We have high tech, Frenchcore, whatever that means, Latin hip hop. Like, it's a huge, 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 huge list of just a bunch of genres. Alternative hip hop. Just scrolling down, LDS youth, piano rock, scorecore, black noise. Like, it's very robust, I'll say. And basically, if you want to get a good idea now, whether or not this still works, because a lot of Spotify is like AI now, which I've already done my Spotify rant, but it continues to disappoint me as the days go on. But a lot of Spotify is like AI now, so whether or not any of this is, like, really accurate anymore, don't know. But anyways, what was I even on this website for? Oh, to get Hawthorne Heights, I guess, what do you call it? Genres. So I click on Screamo, and for whatever reason, so the way that it works, which you can't see this, so, like, just use your imagination, right? I'm not about to put it up here. So it basically works like a word cloud, if you know what a word cloud is. So at the center, and the bigger the name is, the more, I don't know, pure form of this specific genre. And for whatever reason, A Day to Remember is, like, the biggest name on here for Screamo, which I don't know if I technically agree with that, really, but that's what it is on here. And then, where's Hawthorne Heights on this, like, in this word cloud? But, you have bands like Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, Silverstein, Pierce the Veil is also very large. Dance Gavin Dance is pretty large. The Used, Motionless in White, which is like farther from the center. What did I just... Oh, I saw my hand. Okay, never mind. That was weird. Motionless in White is on here. Chiodos is on here, but they're smaller. Where are they even on here? Oh, here they are. They're sort of up into the left. This is the right. That's the right. Yeah, I guess to get you in the idea of what genre they are, but I don't even know why I did this, honestly. Also, speaking of Chiodos, they're actually on tour with Chiodos, but this is like a separate tour from that tour. I'm not gonna lie. Perhaps I would have wanted to see Chiodos. I will say that. Could I name a single Chiodos song? No. But would I have wanted to see them? Yes. And you want to know why? Because they have a song in The Sims 2 for the PC. Okay, they have a similar song. And therefore, they matter a little bit more to me. Maybe Hawthorne Heights also has a song in The Sims. I don't know. They could. I don't think they do, but either way, this is like a side tour from that tour. Basically, they were touring for, I don't know, like 30 straight days or something like that, which that is not sustainable, by the way. Just if you feel the need to do that, I do want to question why. Either way, the name of the tour was the Strange Places Tour, and I believe, hold on, Hawthorne Heights. I do believe that might have been the first stop on that side tour. So, yes, it was. Here we go. Yeah, the first stop was Jackson. So Jacksonville, Destin, Florida, Syracuse. Oh, wait, this is an older one, isn't it? This is from 10 freaking weeks ago. Okay, that's the pinned one. That's not... Where am I? Where's the actual not to be announced? What is this? Oh, that's Sonic Temple. Never mind. Where the heck? Did I scroll too far? I think I might have scrolled too far. Am I? Okay, well, never mind. Where's the... What is this from? Well, okay, no. Is it? I don't know. Okay, well, I just can't find it then. I'm just not going to be able to find it. I'm just not going to be... I don't even... How far back did I scroll? This is from 2024. Okay, never mind. Why... Okay, for whatever reason, on this one that I see here, there's like 2 dates that are to be announced, but whatever. Destin, Florida, Syracuse, New York, 3 undisclosed locations, I guess, and then Columbia, Missouri. So that was, I guess, to fill the gaps in that tour with Chiodos that they are currently, I think, still on. I don't know. I'm gonna have to scroll all the way back down. Let me see. Yeah, that goes until, what is this? December 21st. So there you go. And yeah, honestly, that was a lot of fun. You know, I gave this spiel before when I talked about Gideon coming here, but I'll give it again because I think it's important. So, you know, first of all, I think some credit needs to go to SG Ashcraft. Her name is kind of hard to say, I'm not even gonna lie. It's the initials. They kind of run into each other. SG Ashcraft and the other person who works in talent buying at Hal and Mal's. I think they're doing a fantastic job getting certain bands to come here. I have only booked maybe 2 shows at Hal and Mal's, and only one of them was with SG. But either way, I think she's doing a great job. And honestly, you know, with that, and I think it was the National Folk Festival that was also going on at that same time, where Jackson is having, perhaps, I don't know, I can't really speak to whether or not this is the case, but I know the old heads in the audience that are watching right now will tell me whether or not this is true, but I think Jackson is undergoing a bit of a live music renaissance. I think things are good here, and hopefully they'll stay good for as long as they can, because that is only a good thing for everyone, myself included, because number 1, it'll give me things to do, and number 2, it'll give me things to yap about on this here podcast. So yeah. That was Hawthorne Heights, and that was fun, and that was a nice show. And it was also only $30, I think. I actually, how much did I pay for that? Hold on. Don't, hold on. Hawthorne. How much did I pay for this? Is this my... Okay, yeah. $30.41. Which, I've paid a lot more for concert tickets. I'm looking at you. Bad Omens. I had to pay $63. That was crazy. And we're not going to talk about her. But it was only $30. I feel like some people complain when there are some shows where we got like 2 or 3 out-of-town bands that come, and that's like $15. But honestly, it could be a lot more expensive. Let me tell y'all something. It could be a lot more expensive. Never forget that part. If you think, and listen, I'm not trying to, call people brokies or anything. Times are tough for everybody. I'll just throw that out there as well. But if you think $10 or $15, or well, maybe not 10, like $12 to $15 is a lot for a show, it could be a lot more. It could be way more. And I, for one, am thankful that it isn't. So let's just keep that in mind as well. And I know, yeah, back in my day, I could see 17 bands at the Warped Tour for $5, which I don't think the Warped Tour ever cost $5. And it's probably more than 17 bands. Also, I think Warped Tour is like also going on right now. Anyway, yeah, it could be more expensive. Just keep that in mind. So, for the next show that I went to, this was that Friday. So I saw Heavy as the Head, Hole Opener, Commodity, and Face Rot, although I did not see Hole Opener because Hole Opener, I think, had a medical emergency, and therefore they had to drop from the show. But either way, I saw Heavy as the Head, Commodity, and Face Rot at a brand new venue. We've had like 3 new venues pop up. 3 new potential venues, I would say, because we've only had like 1 show at each of those places. One of those places is probably done for the season because it's fully outdoors and it's cold. Well, I mean, it's not been that cold, actually. It's been kind of hot this past week. Like, it was in the 80s last week, which is kind of crazy for the middle of November. But we also live in Mississippi, so... I don't know what is normal anymore. Just like in general. I don't know if we'll ever know. So, anywho, either way, one of those is probably done for the season because it's fully outdoors. The other one, there might be more shows at. That was Vibe Studio, which I wasn't at that show, but I saw the videos and it looked really fun and really cool on the inside. And now we have, I forgot the name of it. That's fun. The Patton House. Hold on. Yes, it was the Patton House and Gallery in Jackson. It's on State Street, and it is on the National Historic Register. The National Historic No, that's not what it's called. Hold on. It's the National Register of Historic Places. That's what it is. And it's just an old house. I mean, I don't really know it's an old house. It's a historic house that was apparently bought by someone like 2 years ago, from what it was explained to me. Because this is originally supposed to be a house show, but they had to find a venue for it like last minute. And Rafe was explaining this to me. Rafe of Face Rot and / Crooked Letter Collective was explaining to me how this came about. It was supposed to be a house show, but that wasn't able to happen. So he was calling up pretty much every venue in Jackson, being like, hey, can we have this show here? And he got into contact with someone who got in contact with the person that owns the Patton House now. And he was like, yeah, come on in. Just show up, And so that was able to come together pretty last minute. And I will say, I don't know how ideal it is for hardcore shows, because that was what was going on this night. Because, I mean, it's a house. The rooms are quite small. There's not really, like, a big, like, sitting room. Like, from me snooping around in there, which I don't know why, but, like, I was, walking around the place. It felt like I shouldn't have been in there. I don't know. Maybe because it just looked like somebody's house. Which, I mean, it wasn't set up like a house. It didn't have like bedrooms with like beds in it or anything like that. It was like a gallery. There was like art on the walls. There's some nice art on the walls as well. But still, it felt like I was just like in somebody's house. Like, I went back to the kitchen and I was looking around and I was like, I don't know if I should be in here. Like, I'm just in somebody's house right now. Just looking around, just walking around somebody's house. Anyways, I found it really interesting that this house, of all houses, was the one that we were using because, as with a lot of things here in the state of Mississippi, if a house was constructed before a certain year, you can sort of perhaps assume the labor with which it was constructed with and the kind of person that owned the house, unless otherwise stated. And let me tell you, I read the application because it's listed in the references on Wikipedia because I did look it up once this was like announced. Just, number one, to find out where this place is, and number two, to like, I don't know, get the history of it, I guess. But given its construction date, you can kind of safely assume that perhaps it was built by slave labor. Maybe. It was built, let me see, 1849. The Civil War ended in 1865. So, it probably was built with slave labor and it belonged to a Confederate, let me see. Yeah, a Confederate Army person. So, having a hardcore show in the home of a Confederate Army, it wasn't a general, it was just like a Confederate soldier that was maybe built with slave labor. I mean, this wasn't in the the application for the National Historic Register because I don't know. I mean, from what I saw, it was submitted like in the 80s to be on the historic register, so perhaps they weren't bringing these things up back then, but were people two-stepping and spin kicking in a home that was owned by racists and built on the backs of enslaved African Americans? Perhaps. But aside from all of that, it was a really nice show. I will say, for future reference, and hopefully someone made note of this, but the room that we were in had a rug in it, and that rug was not secured. And that is like a slip and fall hazard. I don't know if I'm just too adult brained. And I'm like, man, we really got to do something about this rug before someone bonks their head. And I don't know if this would happen, in this crowd. I don't really know. But I wouldn't want someone to slip, fall, and bonk their head and be like, ooh, I'm suing. Because then we would never be able to use the venue again. And also, that's just not nice. We don't want that to happen. So hopefully next time, if we, left the place in a decent enough state, which I think we did. I mean, I wasn't there when all the bands were clearing out, but I thought we did a pretty good job with the space. Maybe next time we can roll that rug up because that was making me so nervous. Oh my God. But let me see. Heavy as the Head, Hole Opener, and Face Rot, I enjoyed greatly. It was a great time. Saw some folks, had some great conversations, and I got a CD. Ooh. I know I was saying at Hawthorne Heights, I was like, ooh, I'm broke, but I got paid that day, so I allowed myself a $10 CD. So, and I actually haven't opened it yet. It still has the plastic on there. So we're gonna do a live unboxing. If I can, here we go. A live unboxing, a live unwrapping of this CD, which my CD collection is growing steadily. I'm very happy with it. Hopefully I can spin this at some point. But this is the front. It's heavy. Oh, it's so overexposed. Good Lord. Also, please cover up my face. There we go. Heavy as the Head. You can't see it at the bottom, but at the bottom it says For Your Loss. And then on the back here, we have oh my God, cover up my face. Here we go. We have the track list. And I think, are these credits at the bottom? No, that's like copyright information. But, we open it up. There's no, well, hold on. Maybe it is a lyrics book. I don't know. It's folded in half, but it does not feel that thick. This is the front booklet. There are lyrics, but they are printed very small. They are printed so small, you are not going to be able to read this. Number one, because the exposure is just like too bright. But there are lyrics in here. Slay. And then we have Heavy as the Head, Alex Mernon on bass, Drew Peters on drums, James Hoffer on guitars, Travis Downey also on guitars, and Kendall Hall on vocals. Additional guitar parts written by Nick Rockefeller, recorded by James Henderson at Cabin in the Woods Studios, mastered by Andreas Magnuson at 13th Street Sound, artwork, layout, and design by Matt Singleton and Eliza Reinhart. I don't know why I had to be so dramatic saying those credits, but I did. And this is, let me just scooch. There we go. This is the CD itself. Cover up my face. There we go. And yeah, I'll have to... Oh, please don't fall out. Goodness. I'll have to give this a spin at some point. Yay, physical media. But yes, I did greatly enjoy Heavy as the Head and Commodity, who is from Birmingham. Let's go, Alabama. And of course, Face Rot is always a good time. They've been in the studio. I feel like I've talked about this. They've been in the studio recently from what I've seen on the Instagrams. So I hope at some point they will have some recordings that we can all listen to, perhaps in the Big 2-6. I would like to listen to them. Because, listening live is one thing, but being able to listen in a recording is another thing. So let me see. And those were all the shows that I went to. Now, I say those were all the shows that I went to, but Forever Fest was this past Saturday/yesterday. And truthfully, I had every intention on going to Forever Fest. I had, for all intents and purposes, planned on going to Forever Fest. I was also low-key excited about it. But the thing is, that you have to understand about me, is that I love sleeping. And I love sleeping at normal times. And that's not why I didn't go, though. I mean, it sort of is. So Friday came, and because of the way things work at my workplace, we were all kind of slammed that week. We were all doing like double and triple duty just to get stuff done before Thanksgiving, because we don't have much time before Thanksgiving to get things done before Thanksgiving. So we had to do a lot of stuff to get it done and on the air before Thanksgiving. And Friday, I was like, okay, we're going to see how I feel Friday afternoon, and we're going to go from there. And then Friday afternoon came, and I was like, man, I want to sleep, which is crazy because it's like, okay, it's Friday afternoon. That doesn't really have anything to do with tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll be fresh as a daisy. Did not happen. Not so. I didn't wake up fresh as a daisy on Friday afternoon because I don't usually have problems with procrastination. The one thing that I have a problem with procrastination is my hair. Truly. You can't really tell because it's like all back now, but my hair is nice and fresh today. And honestly, I think it is time for me to get my hair cut because it's becoming a lot. If I take this strand out, okay, you can't tell because my shirt is also black, but this is, hold on, this is where we're at. Are my ends a little bit split? Maybe. I feel like they're not as split as they could be, though. I feel like they are doing, hold on, they're doing a lot better than they could be. My hair has gotten quite long, and this is where it's at. I kind of want it to be, like, right here. I'm sorry to all the black girlies in the audience. Like, I've been catching hell for this, like, my entire life, kind of. But I do really prefer my hair being short. Like, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I prefer my hair being short. I don't care about anybody else, what anybody else says. I've had long hair for most of my life. I only cut my hair and started being natural 5 years ago, okay? And by natural, I mean not straightening my hair. I never had a perm. So I guess technically I was always natural, but I was never my natural hair texture. I only started doing that 5 years ago. And I would much prefer if my hair was about chin length. Because I'm stretching it out now. If I didn't stretch it out, it's about cheek length. But this is about all I can manage, which means the rest of this has to go. I'm sorry. And I don't know who I'm apologizing to, but I feel like I was told so much growing up, like, please don't cut your hair. Please don't cut your hair. It's the only worth you have as a black woman is your long hair. Please don't cut it. And that pissed me off to no end. And I was like, you know what? You can't stop me. I'm going to cut my hair. And I did cut my hair. I cut most of it off. Well, not even really most of it, like half. I cut all the damaged parts off because my hair was chopped. When I was in college, chopped. Like, oh my God, it was bad. Like, I look back on some of the pictures that I took of my hair when I was in college. It was like I had a boneless afro. Like, it was that bad. Not only that, but I had dyed my hair in high school. Not myself. I went to a professional to do it. I wanted to dye my whole head like green, like a forest green color. My mom obviously wouldn't approve of that, so we compromised, and I got like a brown, I guess like balayage type thing. And I think we ended up dyeing or bleaching my hair and dyeing it maybe 2 or 3 times, if I can remember correctly. Definitely 2 times. I can't remember if I ever did a third time. And so that's as far as I ever got. But also, I had no idea how to take care of my hair. So it was fried. Like this is embarrassing, not for me. I think for my mom more so, but I didn't actually start learning how to take care of my own hair until I was in college, and I had to because I didn't feel like spending most of my afternoon or most of my weekend in a freaking hair salon like I did growing up. Like, it's sort of crazy to talk about, but pretty much my entire childhood, my hair care was left up to someone else. And I made a video about this on my main channel. Like, I've talked about this ad nauseum, but I will still talk about it here, okay? Because we're gonna get back to Forever Fest, but just walk with me for a second, okay? Like, you know, being the girl with the long hair, which is pretty much what I was growing up, it was, I mean, I didn't really like it. I didn't really care about having long hair, and I super didn't like it when strangers that I did not know would come up to me and my mom while we were at the mall and touch my hair, me, a child that they do not know, just come up and be like, hold on. Just come up and be like, oh, your hair is so pretty. Can I have some of your hair? Oh, it's so pretty. Never cut your hair. I hated that. I hated it so bad. And it's like, first of all, back up off me a little. Strange person I don't know. And of course, my mom would just laugh it off. I'm like, why are you laughing? I don't know this lady, and neither do you. So, like, what's going on? You know? And I also got. I also got a lot of biracial allegations, not just because of my hair, it's also because of the way that I talk, which, you know, also something that I can't control. I mean, I suppose I could, but like, the way that I talk is the way that I talk. I don't, either way, I got a lot of biracial allegations because of my hair, which was so bizarre to me because, I don't know, I felt like people treated me differently because of it, which, by the way, if you're also under the assumption that I was halfsies, I'm not. I have 2 black parents and 2 black grandparents, so like, I have 4 black grandparents. I have more than 2 black grandparents. I have 4. So like, either way, I don't really know why it mattered, but that's like a whole other thing that I don't really have time to get into, so like we're not gonna. But either way, I'm tired of having long hair, and I feel like my hair is too long. Like, it gets in my face now, and it like gets on my neck and like my back, and I don't like it. I want to have much shorter hair, and I want about this much gone. And I remember the second time that I cut my hair, which the first time I went to a person to get it cut, which that was the last time that I had ever been in a hair salon, was getting my hair cut that first time. But the second time I did it myself, and honestly, I thought it was really cute at the time. I was so confident with short hair. Like, I just thought I looked so good with that length of hair that I had at that time. But as it grew out, I saw that it was very uneven. And I would like to wear a fro more often than I do. I think the last time I wore my hair out, which I mean you can see on the podcast, was literally February. So like once this year? Yeah. But it's really uneven. I would just like to get it cut a little bit more evenly, but the thing about it is that, I don't want the person to like straighten my hair to cut it, cuz like I haven't applied any heat to my hair probably in about 5 years, you know? So, I mean, the hottest thing that touches my head is the sun and the water when I wash it. I don't blow dry it. I don't flat iron it or anything. I don't apply any heat to my hair. And I'm sure if I like just explained that to the hairstylist, they'd be like, okay. But I feel like, I want, I guess, like a curly cut, but also I could probably look it up. I mean, I live in Jackson, Mississippi. There's gotta be one person in this dang city who knows how to cut hair while it's curly. Cause listen, I'm not gonna wear my hair straight anymore. It's just not happening. If I want straight hair, perhaps I will get into wigs, because wig technology has advanced very far, and you can get a really good lace front for not that much money. Or a decent lace front for not that much money, and I could just learn how to apply it myself. However, something that I learned, because like I'm only just now learning how to take care of my hair, which is a crazy statement at my big age of 26 years. But I learned some people, when they're wearing wigs, they don't take them off. Like, wear them for a long time. And I feel like not having access to my scalp for more than like half a day, that's gonna make me freak out. So I don't know if I could, do the whole gluing it to my hairline thing. But if I want straight hair really bad, I'll just get a wig. And if I'm gonna get a wig, I'm gonna get a wiggy wig. Like, it's gonna be a crazy color. A fun color. Not crazy. A fun color. And I'll be wigging out. I'll be wiggiana. And that'll be that. But I'm not gonna wear my hair straight. And I don't want someone to cut my hair while it is straight, because then it might not look good while it's curly. So yeah. And also, it's just, I have had 1, 2, 3, 4, hold on, 4 people, including myself, do my hair ever in my life. One being my mom, the other being the lady that used to braid my hair when I was a kid, and the other being the hairstylist that I went to from 6th grade up until college, until I cut it off after I graduated. So, that's not a lot of people. Do I have trust issues with my hair? I mean, it's not like I went to someone and they like wrecked my stuff or anything like that. But I am sort of scared of that happening if I do go to a person, because literally all I want them to do is just cut it. That's it. Maybe like, I don't know. I don't even really need anything done to my hair, like a deep conditioning or anything like that. Because, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, some of my hair is like broken off. That is because I lack patience when detangling my hair, and I will yank at it, which I know you're not supposed to do, but I just have so much of it. Which I know it's like, oh, my steak is too buttery and my lobster is too juicy, but having thick hair is not always a good thing. It makes it just a lot to deal with. All that to say, I didn't really, procrastinate doing my hair this weekend, but it's gotten to the point now where it's like a 3-day process, not even a 2-day process, where I took it down on Friday, which I was, debating whether or not I wanted to go to the show in Vicksburg, because, first of all, my good Judies and Measureless Aeons were going to be there, and also Plague Burner, which I've only seen like once, and I've wanted to see them again, but I feel like every time they've come here, like, I haven't been able to go, or I just didn't go for some reason, or it's been in Vicksburg. And then Face Rot again, and then Skulldozer, which I don't know where they're from, but I was debating on going to that show, but I was like, do I kind of wanted to, first of all, I needed to take my hair down, so I was like, I need to do that, because if I didn't, then I was going to procrastinate doing it on Saturday. And I was still debating whether or not I wanted to go to Forever Fest, which, I mean, that was only going to be at 4 o'clock, but there's still other things that I need to do on Saturday. So it's like, I have too much going on. And some of that too much going on involves my hair, weirdly. So it's like, also, I just realized I didn't really explain. If you're listening to the audio only version of the podcast, you're only getting half the story. Now, I actually have tape measure here on my desk, so I can actually measure my hair to give you an idea of how long it is, since we're going back to the subject of my hair. Hold on. Hold on. Gosh darn it. Actually, no. Hold on. Here we go. How long is my hair? Hold on. I gotta stretch it out. It is... What is this? I think this... Hold on. Almost 16 inches. My hair is almost 16 inches long, and I would like to cut about half of that off. So, like 8 inches. I want to cut 8 inches of hair off, which is, kind of a lot to some people. Not to me. To me, that would be the perfect amount. I sort of wanted to see just how long my hair could get before I got tired of it, and I think the amount that I can get before I get tired of it is about 16 inches. And also, it did take kind of a while to get to this point. I don't want to talk about my hair for the whole time, but just for the audio only listeners, to give you an idea, it took, I don't know, maybe like 3 years to get here from about chin length, because that's where I cut it before. So to grow 8 inches, it took like 3 years. I don't know if that's a lot. I don't know if it's not a lot. Either way, I'm tired of it. I want to cut it off. I don't want to go bald. I don't know if I would look good bald, but shorter, not necessarily pixie, but just chin length, just like a bob. I was so cute with this hair length. I don't want long hair anymore. It's not worth it. I don't think like I said, I never wanted long hair, but now, anywho, I was debating on going to the show in Vicksburg. Has it really been an hour? Shut up. Oh my God. Okay. I was debating. This is crazy. I was debating. I have so much more to talk about. It's just gonna have to be a long episode, I guess. I was debating going to the show in Vicksburg, but I was like, no, I gotta take my hair down. So I had to do that so that I wouldn't procrastinate washing my hair on Saturday, which it doesn't take that long to wash. I can listen to not even a full-length album in the time that it takes to not only wash my hair, but just shower regularly. So, that's not the time-consuming part. The time-consuming part is taking it down, which also not even really that time-consuming, but whatever. It feels like a Herculean task to me. Taking it down and then detangling it and moisturizing it and conditioning it and all of that. I feel like that takes a while. And then styling it, which I did that today. And, that took not the entire length of the movie Prisoners, which I watched, the 2013 movie with huge jacked man and Jake Gyllenhaal, which, by the way, has one of my favorite third acts in film, aside from Inglourious Basterds. That and Prisoners are my favorite, just perfect climax third acts in film. Anywho, so maybe how long is Prisoners? It's actually pretty long. It's 2.5 hours, just about. Is this really the official? Okay, no, that can't be this is the poster. Yeah. This red and black poster, that's dog doo-doo. But it's the blue one. That's sort of better. I feel like they could have done a better poster. Anyways, fantastic movie, by the way. Did it? We can't dwell because we're at an hour and I have so much more to talk about. Anywho, all that to say, that's not why I didn't go to Forever Fest, because I had to do my hair. I wanted to go to bed at a normal time. I don't know. I just felt really tired this weekend, to be completely honest. And you know what? I think it was for the better. Now, Forever Fest started at 4. I can't remember how many bands there were. I think it was 9 or something. I can look this up. Not that it matters, but I can look this up. Again, not that it matters, but I can look this up. Where is it? Okay, I'm not scrolling through all of that. Hold on. Hold up. Hold on. I'm just going to play. Did not play audio. Go here. And then let us see. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 bands. And you know what? I didn't feel like standing up that entire time either. I just felt tired. I'm not even gonna lie. For that Heavy as the Head show, I was feeling tired during that. Like, I was just leaned up against the wall for pretty much everyone's set, just like vibing, you know? I was tired then too. So it's like, I don't know, I've had a tired couple of weeks. Maybe it's just the tired times. What can I say? And I just wanted to go to bed. And so I did end up going to bed Saturday night, and I think I slept for like 10 hours because I went to bed at around 8. I actually went to bed kind of early for a Saturday. I went to bed at around 8ish, 8:30. We'll say 8:30. It's when I got in bed. And then of course, I have to watch my shows before I, actually fall asleep. And I think I ended up falling asleep around 9:30, and I woke up at like 8 o'clock this morning. And so that's not accounting for all the times that I wake up in the middle of the night, which isn't often. It's usually only like once or twice. But I would say I slept for about 10 hours last night. And perhaps I needed it. And you know what? Was it good sleep? I don't even know. I woke up with a headache, so maybe not. Maybe it wasn't good sleep. Maybe I slept for too long. I don't know. But yeah, I just wanted to sleep. I just wanted to get in bed and sleep. And I was like, you know what? It'll be okay. Because there are other people there. Brent McQuillan was the official photographer for the fest, the, I guess, media sponsor. And then they had someone with a little, what do you call it? Not 8-track. It's not a real 8mm camera, but like one of the new fake 8mm cameras taking video. And then there's this account that I just started following called Illuminate Mississippi that was also there. Taking videos and stuff. So it's like my presence wasn't exactly required for the fest. And you know what? It looked like it was fun. It looked like they had a pretty decent turnout. And I hope it was successful enough for them to do it again next year, where I do hope to be in attendance. But, Your Honor, a second music festival... Your Honor, why did I say Your Honor? Mr. President, a second music festival has hit the towers. There is this next month? No. It's January. So, there is a sort of, I guess, death metal music festival at Hal and Mal's. And let me see. It's called Gates of Brutality, featuring Exorcism, Vampiric Coffin, Pantheon, Dead Alive, Morgue Meat, Brutal Swine. What does it say? Subserviency, Vampiric Baptism, Necromire. What does it say? Alder, Encircled Throne, Plague Burner, Shangri-La, and Rabid Venom. Now, many of these bands are from Mississippi. Many of them, well, a few of them aren't. But I would say for the most part, first of all, I have seen a lot of these bands before, so not Dead Alive, but I've seen Rabid Venom. Was I here for Vampiric Coffin? I don't think so. But the name is familiar. I'm pretty sure they've been here before. I've seen Encircled Throne, I've seen Shangri-La, I've seen Exorcism, I have seen Plague Burner, again, only like one time, and I do want to see them again. So yeah, this will hopefully be fun. And it is on January 17th. That is a Saturday. And it starts at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yep, 2 p.m. Does that say 2? Well, that actually looks like an S, like a backwards S. Maybe in this font. But it's 2 p.m. at Hal and Mal's. And speaking of upcoming shows, those are all the shows that I went to recently. So, let us see what's coming up next. So, of course, there's nothing this week because this week is Thanksgiving week. So, there could be something, but if there is, I don't know about it yet. And I will say, big ups to me. I have been, I think, doing a little bit better job of keeping up with stuff for my calendar. So that's great for me. Being that it is the end of the year, things do start slowing down. So I only have 3 shows for the month of December. But of course, this is subject to change. We have this one I certainly will be looking forward to because it's Glitter Critters, Kicking, Weak Hearts, and Dreams Without Color at Urban Foxes at 7 o'clock. And yes, Lacey is coming back for the Glitter Critters and Kicking set. And of course, being that I love Glitter Critters, I will be there. And I'll actually wear my shirt because I don't think I've worn that shirt one time. So I shall be there for that. Well, okay. Perhaps I shouldn't make promises about where I am and am not going to be because who knows? Friday afternoon, the tiredness may hit me. I can't guarantee where I am or am not going to be at any time, anywhere. So I hope to be there. Whether or not I will be there is up to whatever controls the tiredness in your body at any given moment. Yeah. On the 7th, we have Die Young, Shangri-La, and Face Rot at CS's on the 7th. I did say CS's on the 7th at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. That's a Sunday. And then we have the Akashic 45s, Dreams Without Color, and Achilles at Urban Foxes on December 13th. And there is another show. Hold on. I haven't put it on my calendar yet because this is so crazy. The hold on. I'm gonna show my explore page on Instagram. It's mainly black labs. Like, look at how many black labs are on my explore page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One is a chocolate lab. My explore page is just little black puppy dogs. And you know what? That's great. What was I even looking up? Oh my god. What the heck is the name of this band? How did I blink on this so fast? Oh my god. Name a more iconic duo. Me and forgetting the name of things. Mostly satire. They have, let me see. Piggy Bank is coming out. When is this coming out? December 19th. And they will have a release show for it, but I haven't put it on my calendar yet because I think it's at Innoval Music, but I don't have the poster for it yet, so I haven't put it on there yet. But honestly, I could probably just put it on there now. Mostly satire release show featuring To Be Determined, or To Be Announced, because not determined, because I'm not the one determining it at end of all music. Jackson. Now, sometimes I will post like screenshots from my calendar, and I've had people like ask me like, "Oh, where is this?" It literally is just a Google Calendar that I have that I add shows to when I see them on Instagram, and that really is it. You know, it's nothing really fancy or advanced. It is literally just a Google Calendar. And I have contemplated putting this particular calendar on my website on jacksonunderground.com, but the only thing is, on WordPress, like the Google Calendar like widget is so ugly. Like I don't know why it just can't look the way I want it to look, but it can't. So, and also when I announced that I was thinking about doing that, I got like 2 different people reaching out to me being like, "Oh, I want to do the same thing." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And that was kind of it. So honestly, I probably should just do it. Find out how to make the Google Calendar widget less ugly, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. And I mean, I don't advertise this or anything, but I mean, if you want the calendar, what are my privacy settings for this? I actually don't know. Oh. Well, I do have it available to the public. Interesting. I don't know if I'm gonna start giving out links to the calendar or whatever, but that's literally all it is. It's just a Google Calendar that I update myself, and it goes back to, let me just go back to maybe December 2023. Yes, December 2023 is when I started actually doing it. So yeah, that's really it for that. So, we have so many fantastic shows coming up, and also, if you're watching this when this comes out on Wednesday, there's probably already some Black Friday deals going on in certain places. And, certain people in our lives, they're just so hard to shop for. And if you have a difficult to shop for person in your life, then might I suggest some eargasm earplugs. Wow, look at that, especially if they go to shows with you or maybe by themselves. I don't know. If you use my code JX10, you watching this can get 10% off on eargasm.com. Now, whether or not this will stack, I actually don't know. So let's just find out together. Black Friday. They have an early Black Friday deal going on right now. Hold on. Bloop. There we go. So let's try to, we got 20% off high fidelity earplugs. Let's have a look. We got 20% off. Is this really 20? Well, okay. So they have an early Black Friday sale going on now. So I'm just gonna add that to my cart. Hold on. Let me see if it stacks. Early 20. Apply. I think you can only do one at a time. So it's either that or JX10. Hold on. So if I apply that, then it's 10% off, right? Hold on. Go to checkout. Let's see what we got. So, okay. We're doing this together. So I got early 20. If I do JX10 and apply that, does it stack? It does not stack. Unfortunately, as I've learned, the discount codes do not stack. So that is unfortunate. But if you take it off, then you can put it on there, but then you won't get the 20% off. So, it doesn't stack, unfortunately. But either way, if you don't care about the discount and you just want me to get 15% of your order, then by all means, use code JX10 at checkout and you will get 10% off your order. Or you can use whatever Black Friday code they have, and then I'll get nothing. But then you'll get earplugs. And honestly, the message still stands. Protect your ears with code JX10 or whatever code they have that offers a discount. There you go. I can't believe I'm not gonna lie, this might be a long episode. It might be a long episode. I'm not even gonna front. So, new music alert. Oh, I was so surprised and so happy when I saw this on Spotify. It didn't actually let me down for once, but my I'm really resisting saying my good Judies. But I just want to say my good Judies in Subtropolis yes, 2 new singles that dropped November 12th, The Weeping Fig and Breathe Deep. Now, are these new singles going to be for a new album? That I don't quite know. I can look it up, however. Let me see. Subtropolis. They are... Oh, this is a business complex. Where are they from? They're from Missouri? Missouri. Nope. Where are they from? Where's Subtropolis from? They're from St. Louis. They're from Missouri. There's also... I think they're named after the business complex in Missouri, so never mind. Let me look up Subtropolis band. Here we go. Yeah, they're from St. Louis, and they have this on... Ooh, what's this? Ooh, there's a vinyl? Ooh, what is this, a 7-inch? It's an 8-inch. Ooh, Now that's nice. Do I want I was gonna say, do I want this? It's $12. I don't know. I don't know. But it's a nice little 8 inch. It's like blue. Oh no, is this clear? I can't tell. No, it is clear. Clear 8 inch square polycarbonate record. Square. It's a square? Oh wow. Okay. Plays at 45 RPM. Includes clear poly black. What? Clear poly bag and full color 8x8 double sided insert. Records were cut and labeled by hand at Gorby Lathe Cuts, limited to 25 copies. Please note, these records were made using a 70-year-old Presto lathe, which was fed a mono signal, so the records were played in mono. Lathe cut records also inherently have a lower signal output than traditional press vinyl, so turn up your stereo. Includes unlimited streaming of the Weeping Fig, which is the name of it. The Weeping Fig BW. Breathe Deep via the free Bandcamp Act. Did I not say the name of it? It's The Weeping Fig and Breathe Deep. That's the name of the 2 songs. Yeah. Fun. And they're good, and I like them. You know, I've been listening to True Crime on Acid Bridge since I got my tape player. I've been listening to that tape probably the most out of any of my tapes, and I love this record, this album, quite dearly. And of course I'm gonna love these 2 singles that came out, and something else that I found out, which also makes me very happy, but Subtropolis is hoping to come back to Jackson for a future tour in the Big 2-6, and I will be seated when that happens. I really like Subtropolis when they came here last October. I greatly enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun. It was a fun show. I just really love proggy stuff, you know? I don't really limit myself to one genre. I will say there are some genres of music that I think I enjoy a little bit more performed than just listening to. I think noise and hardcore, I like seeing those live, depending on the band, more than I like seeing it or hearing like recordings of it. And prog, I think, is both. I love seeing it performed and I love hearing recordings of it, but also I am kind of kind of an audiophile. So like if the mix isn't good, then I'm just not gonna listen to it. Really, I'm not gonna listen to it that often. You know, unfortunately, I just like my stuff to sound good, even though, you know, I listen to a lot of my music on cheap Sony earbuds or on my phone speaker, which honestly, looking at this phone, this is a $300 Android phone. It is the Android A53 5G. It's like, it's a Galaxy technically, but it's like the cheapo Galaxy. It's not the S series, it's the A series. But honestly, the A series, not that bad. For $300, I could have done a lot worse. I actually do like this phone quite a bit. For a budget phone, it's not bad. Like, genuinely. I could have a little bit more storage, but of course, I have so many concert and show videos that I just can't part with for whatever reason. So that's what's taking up most of the storage in my phone, is literally videos from shows and concerts. But, you know, all of that is very vital to me. So I'm keeping it, and I don't care. You know, I bought an SD card to expand the storage on my phone specifically for that reason. So yeah, either way, what was I talking about? Oh yes, I will be looking forward to Subtropolis coming back to Jackson whenever that happens, and I will be very happy whenever that happens. So, another topic of conversation for this evening. I put on my Instagram stories recently because I was sort of thinking about it, because I kind of wanted to know. I wanted to know what were the, I guess, semi-prominent bands out of Mississippi, aside from Three Doors Down. Because, you know, you hear Mississippi's, I guess, official, like, slogan is the birthplace of America's music, but a lot of that is sort of limited to like the more blues, folk, you know, Americana, that type of stuff. Which, I'm not discounting any of that because, blues led to rock, which led to metal, which led to all of the stuff that I'm listening to now. So it's like I'm not mad at that at all, but I feel like because of that, there ought to be more variety when it comes to prominent Mississippi music. So I asked the people, my audience, which by the way, I don't really focus on numbers all that much, but I am almost, what am I at right now? Let's have a look, see. Where am I? Come on. I'm at 923. I'm pretty close to 1,000. Would it be really fly, hot, and sexy if I could get to 1,000 before the end of the year? Yes. Do I expect for that to happen? Not really, but it would be cool if it did happen. Anyways, I asked my sizable audience on the Instagram, who are some prominent bands from Mississippi that, aside from Three Doors Down, because I feel like Three Doors Down is like maybe the obvious answer for like rock slash metal slash punk slash all of those types of music. And the answers that I got are bands that one of them I had heard of before, but the other ones I hadn't. Joan Zetta, Color Revolt, and Bass Drum of Death. Now, Bass Drum of Death I think is still sort of active. They're from Oxford, and they're sort of still active, I think. I don't know if they're like still releasing music or anything like that, but they're sort of active. Are they on tour? What's this? Yes, they are on tour on the West Coast. Well, Houston is Texas. Texas isn't the West Coast. Is it a coast? I don't know. Yes, it's a coast. Texas is part of the Gulf Coast, but it's not the West Coast. But either way, this tour starts out with Houston, Dallas, and Austin, and Phoenix. Which, anyway, they are on tour. Let's see, what's today? The 23rd? Oh, no, the tour actually just ended. Their last stop was in Columbia, Missouri on the 22nd. Today is the 23rd. So there you go. They were on tour very recently. So yes, all that to say is they are still active. Joan Zetta and I think Color Revolt. Joan Zetta definitely isn't active. They do have Joan Zetta. They have at least one CD out. Now, would I ever find a copy of that CD anywhere? Maybe not. I mean, I'm on where am I? I'm on Discogs. And let's see. Is this it? Okay, yes. They had 2 albums, Cruel to Be Young and Popularity. One came out in 2008, one came out in 2006. Am I going to find one for sale on Discogs? Well, yes, I am actually. There's 22 of them for sale. Very cheap. Well, that's from China. Okay, that ships from China. This ships from the United States. And it's $1.23. Which leads me to believe this is at a Goodwill, because all the CDs at Goodwill are also $1.23. But it's also $7.50 shipping. So yes, I will be able to find a Joan Zetta CD. Are they on streaming? Yes, they are. I'm literally looking at Spotify right now. So when I asked this, I didn't really get a chance to like actually listen to any of this music, which I feel like I should at some point. What's their bio? And okay, this is long. I'm not gonna read out this entire thing, but an enthusiastic addition to the bumper crop of early 80s style retro new wave bands, only barely old enough to have been in diapers as the scene was cresting. What a sentence. Joan Zetta is an unapologetically light-hearted pop band with no more agenda than sharing their influences from MTV's early days with an equally youthful audience. Hailing from the small city of Clinton, Mississippi, which is in the metro, Joan Zetta formed when its 4 members were still in high school. And I've learned that one of the members of Joan Zetta, according to Wikipedia, and there was no source for it. Like, at all. Let me see. Yeah, there's no source listed for any of this, but Tony Abercrombie, who is currently drummer for Crypt Eater. Oh, I'm wearing the shirt today. That wasn't planned, by the way. But drummer for Crypt Eater, Tony Abercrombie, apparently did keyboards on Jonesetta for it's listed as former. I don't think they're not active anymore, according to Wikipedia, which again has very little sourcing. Like, so you know, we're a little sus, but yeah, that's that. And then there was Color Revolt, which is I think they're also from Oxford. Yeah, they're from Oxford. They're currently signed to Fat Possum Records, and there's a post about them on the post-hardcore subreddit. Fun. And they're also on Spotify. And they're also on Wikipedia. Yeah. Fun. Are they still listed as active? I don't think so. Either way, I guess my homework for the week is to actually listen to these 3 bands. Also, another one, which I think this counts. Now, when I listened to this song, it was a lot more country than I had remembered. But one song that actually, I think they would be considered one-hit wonders. But the band Perry, actually, I think they have a Todd in the Shadows one-hit Wonderland video for If I Die Young. Or maybe I made that up. But the band Perry, the 2 siblings, the girl and the guy, they're from Ridgeland, which I don't know if that got any amount of publicity when that song came out, but I do know that that song is a banger. Let me see. If I Die Young, the band Perry. Was that ever one hit Wonderland? I feel like it should have been. Maybe it wasn't. Well, it doesn't come up when I just search it. So, hold on. If I Die Young, the band Perry, one hit Wonderland. No. So there's not a one hit Wonderland video for If I Die Young by the band Perry by Todd in the Shadows. So I guess I just, I don't know, gaslit myself. But it was on Glee. It was on Glee. There's a Glee cover of If I Die Young by the band Perry. So, but yeah, they're from Ridgeland, Mississippi, which is so crazy. I never knew that. Because I feel like when that song came out, it was played on VH1 a lot, and therefore it went quadruple platinum in my house. It's also a good song, but I sort of forgot there's banjo in it. And I listened to it recently, and I was like, oh, this is way more country than I remember somehow. But yeah. So if you were to, I guess, something, Jonesetta, that's the one that I think got most, I don't know, they did quite a few tours from what I remember, if I do, yes, like they toured with Amberlynn, As Cities Burn, Mailing and Sons of Disaster. They're at 2007 Warped Tour. Like, I feel like if I were to pick, this kind of band that got the most notoriety aside from Three Doors Down, obviously, which is from like in the middle of nowhere. Where are they from? The Delta? Hold on. 3 Doors Down. Where are they from? Escatawpa. That's gotta be in the Delta. Where is this? It's in Jackson County. Where the heck is that? Hold on. Oh no, that's by the coast. What am I talking about? Clearly I don't know my counties of Mississippi, but that's okay. It sounded like it was in the Delta. I don't know why I thought it was. But yeah, Escatawpa. What's the population of Escatawpa? Let's look. 3,000. Wow. And their one claim to fame is Three Doors Down. Or I don't know, maybe there's other things going on in Escatawpa, Mississippi. Geography, demographics, census, households. They don't even have goodness. Okay. Notable people: Brad Arnold, Three Doors Down singer/drummer, Three Doors Down the rock band, Wendell Davis, professional football player, and Jack G. Hansen, a recipient of the Medal of Honor during the Korean War. So that's Escatawpa, Mississippi's claim to fame. Anywho, I've got some new bands to listen to, I suppose, so I can not be a poser and know about the music in the state that I currently reside, that I now call my home, that has adopted me, so to speak. So yeah. What is after this? Oh, so speaking of music that is not really new, but I've been listening to it, and therefore it's new to me. This kind of, it goes back around. It goes back around. So, speaking of Every Noise at Once, they have, I hate not wearing long pants on this goddamn leather chair, because there's like a crack in the seat part, and it like pokes me in the thighs, and I kind of hate it. I had a piece of duct tape on here, but it came off, and I bought this chair off a neighbor for like $15 when I lived in my first apartment, so it's like, you get what you get, but it would be nice to have a new chair. Anywho, I don't really need a new chair, but I just need to wear pants. That's really the whole thing. I just need to wear pants. Anywho, what was I talking about? Every Noise at Once. They generate playlists for select genres that you look up. And so for a while, I've been listening to the one for Modern Jungle because, if you don't know this about me, well, now you're about to know. I am quite fond of the jungle genre of electronic music. I love Amen Break. I think they're great, and I think it's really funky. And I don't know, I like listening to it. But I was like, man, I need something new to listen to. So I went to the page for Gent, and I went to the playlist for that, which, by the way, this playlist is about 326 songs. So it's pretty long. It's 24 hours long. Also because, Gent and other, progressive metal, the songs are long. The songs are long. Like, if I sort by length, the longest song in here is 10 minutes. And it's The World Breathes With Me by Caligula's Horse. There are a lot of 9, 8, 7, and 6-minute songs in this playlist, so, yeah. Either way, I was just listening to it on shuffle, and I come up on, I can't even remember what song it was specifically, but I was like, man, this voice is familiar, and I went to listen to the rest of the songs in this. It's not really an EP, it's just like a collection of singles, I think, but I happened upon the band Last Chance to Reason, and I liked Last Chance to Reason because the songs that I was listening to from, what is the name of this EP? The Divide. I mean, it's called an EP in Spotify, but it's just 4 singles. The Divide, Digital Twin, Archons and Acolytes, and False Walls, which came out last June. Yeah. And so I started listening to them, and I was like, man, this voice is so familiar. Come to find out, gosh, this chair is uncomfortable, and I've also been sitting down for a while. Michael Lessard of The Contortionist fame, I don't know, maybe vice versa. Michael Lessard of The Contortionist, and of course, I've been listening to Language by The Contortionist pretty much on repeat for like a couple months now. Also did, I think, 2 albums with Last Chance to Reason. I think Level 2 and Level 3. And then, of course, these newest 4 singles, which I think are supposed to be part of Level 4, but they came out last year, and I don't know when the other songs are coming out. But also, the songs from this, I don't want to call it EP, because it's not an EP, but these singles honestly kind of sound like B-sides from, what do you call it? The B-sides from Language, or just like Contortionist songs, so that's why I like them. But also, something about it that I've been thinking of to formulate an opinion about is, I think Michael Lessard is, like, getting up there with, like, my favorite vocalists, like, all time, for this particular genre of music, because I was actually asked at work, like, oh, who do you think are, like, the top vocalists of all time? And I feel like, people are gonna have answers like, oh, Whitney Houston, or Aretha, or, that kind of thing, but those weren't even in my radar when I was thinking about that. And, I think best vocalist, just in general, I feel like that's very much down to the genre of music that you listen to. So obviously I have my answers. They're not really going to be other people's answers because they're thinking about all of popular music for the last, I don't know, 50 years, maybe something like that. Um, Anywho, I think Michael Lesser's voice, which this isn't a read, by the way, but I think it's very simple. It doesn't do a lot of complicated, complex things within the composition, if that makes sense. Like, he's not doing a bunch of runs or hitting like a bunch of notes or really doing anything like complex with his voice, but the way that it layers with the songs on, I'll just say, Language by the Contortionists, it adds another layer to it where it's not just, him singing. It's like it is part of the song. I thought of that and then I said it and then I realized that it doesn't make any freaking sense at all. But think about it this way. If you think about like a pop song, right? You have the backing track and you have the vocals. And clearly the vocals are like the main act, the main attraction. You're here if you're listening to, I don't know, who is a pop girly these days? I really don't know. I'm so disconnected from pop music. I truly don't know. I was gonna say Taylor Swift, but like her latest album, I can't say that. Not that one. But I feel like for a lot of like, let's say the pop girlies, you go to them to listen to them sing. Olivia Rodrigo, maybe, I don't know, but I feel like with this particular kind of music, the voice is not, it's just another instrument in the composition. Like, it all layers together to be cohesive instead of here's the voice, here's the backing track. Like, that is how I feel about Michael Lesser's voice in, I would say specifically, Language by the Contortionists. I've listened to Clairvoyant all the way through one time. And I thought it was just, I don't know, it wasn't doing what Language was doing, which is what I wanted it to do, which perhaps it wasn't supposed to be doing that. Because, I'm pretty sure Language is like a concept album. It is a concept album. So there's like a lot going on there. And I feel like the same is happening in these four songs, and I've been listening to them pretty much on repeat nonstop since like 2 weeks ago, and I'm not even lying. Like, I'm gonna go on stats.fm and tell you how much I've been listening to these four songs, and it's probably going to be a lot because I've just been listening to them again on repeat while working. And I'm at work for 8 hours, something like that. Yeah, let me go to album. What is this? 4 weeks. Scroll it back. Well, why can't I find it? Hold on. Why is it not up here? That's crazy. For the past 4 weeks. Weird. Anywho. Well, if I go to the tracks, they are my top 4 tracks for the past 4 weeks. What if I go 6 months? One of them is my top for the past 6 months. Oh god. Yeah. False Walls I've streamed 67 times, The Divide I've streamed 46 times, Digital Twin 44 times, and Archons and Acolytes 39 times, in literally 2 weeks. I've been listening to it a lot, quite a bit, quite frequently. So yeah, I sure do wish they had released the rest of it. I did see that they had a, Patreon, because I guess the band is independent, which is good. But their last update was in April of this year, which is not promising for level 4 by Last Chance to Reason. But considering we are almost in the big 2-6, so that's yeah. Anywho, I have one more thing to talk about, and it's not related to music. And it will be quick because I don't have really all the details on it. But I thought, honestly, when I saw that, I was in an uncrash-outable location. Not that I was going to crash out about it, but I did feel quite a bit about it. So I was like, this is crazy. So if you are like me and you're a dirty little thief and you like to sail the seven seas, then and you also like to play The Sims 4 but also don't want to spend $1,000 on all of the expansions for it. Now I'll say this. I've never spent a single red hot cent on a single Sims game, which is crazy because it is, my favorite of all time. Except for The Sims 2 Life Stories, which I bought at Walmart, surprisingly, in Mobile, Alabama. Had to be like 2014 or something like that. That is the only game that I've ever paid for with my own money. So I'll just leave it at that. But a prominent, I guess, cracker, that's crazy, person who cracks video games, a prominent cracker in the Sims 4 community was, as I have learned, basically forced into retirement. It was Anadius. And I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but I might be. So basically, and also I want to preface, well, no, I'll get to there. So this Anadius person made a tool to crack The Sims 4 very easily and very intuitively. Like, it was pretty much all done for you. People like to say that pirating is hard. It's not. I figured it out when I was 12. Like, come on. Skill issue. If you think pirating is hard, skill issue. Like, for real. Just be tech savvy. I don't know what else to tell you. But, what it also sort of allowed, which is really cool, which I don't know hey, it's over and done with now, so I don't think I'm blowing up the spot, but it allowed you to also connect to the gallery of The Sims 4. I'm not really sure how that was able to work, but it was. And that was kind of, I think, the draw for a lot of people was connecting to the gallery and being able to, download houses and Sims and stuff from the gallery. And also be able to upload them to the gallery. You did have to have the base game in, Origin isn't a thing anymore, so your EA account to be able to do that. And the way that I did that is, I think they were whatever, man. They were having a free weekend, or I don't know, they were giving the game away for free. I don't think I ever paid for The Sims 4, but I got the base game, and I played that. Or no, I got the base game, and I was able to use that being in, my EA account, to be able to use that particular crack to use the gallery and all of that, and that was great. And he also had an updater tool, which anytime a new pack or a new kit or an expansion would come out, all you had to do was run the little tool and it would update your game for you and add the expansion, and it was all very easy. But I guess Sims 4 players are just so greedy, just so big and greedy, and they were, I guess, hounding Anadius for something. I don't even really have the full story about it, but the updater doesn't work anymore. It's he's actually, I don't even know if it was a man or not. I don't know who was behind this account, for a good reason. But it's over and done with now. So the tool doesn't work anymore. But the thing about it, after the initial kind of shock wore off, that's not the only way to pirate the game. That's one way. It was the easiest way, and it was the most user-friendly way. But that's not the only way. There are other cracks of the game. So it's will you be able to use the gallery? I don't know about that part. That part I don't know. But considering that's not an essential gameplay feature, and also there is a way for you to, I don't know if this is still the case, but there is a way for you to access the gallery online, in a web browser, and be able to download stuff that way. Of course, you still needed an EA account to access it, but there was a workaround for that. So it's is it really that essential? I don't really know. It's been a really long time since I played The Sims 4. Honestly, the last Sims game that I played regularly was 2. I will always be a Sims 2 girly, forever and always. Sims 2 is my girl. She holds me down. So it's I wasn't really concerned with anything going on in the Sims 4 community, but of course, being that is the most current game that is, still being updated by EA and still having new content from EA, and considering we're never going to get a Sims 5 in a way that I think most people want, that's the most active community. And my thighs, a lot of the people that play do pirate it, because again, for all the expansions, it's $1,000, which is crazy, And I mean, this isn't unique to The Sims 4. The Sims 2, The Sims 3, and The Sims 1 also had a bunch of expansions that would have cost a lot of money if you paid for all of them. But, like, I think because of the different kinds of, money grabs, because not only do you have the EPs and the SPs, the stuff packs, you have the kits and a bunch of other, like, DLC type stuff that is paid. So it's like, it gets most of the flack for that, I think. Rightfully so, by the way. I'm not caping for EA. You will never find me caping for Electronic Arts, ever, 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 you know? So it's like, yeah, that happened. But also, something to keep in mind is that wasn't the only crack of the game. It was the easiest to use, and I think it was the one preferred by most people, but it wasn't the only one. There are other cracks out there. And, I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. Something, there's probably going to be someone that's going to pick up the project. So it's like, But also something that I've seen happening in the Sims community, which, again, I've been disconnected from for a while now, but there are custom content creators that are paywalling their custom content. And I will say this for as long as I live. I was there back in the day when the Sims Resource introduced an optional VIP. Of course it was an optional VIP, but, like, I think you were able to, like, download stuff faster and there were no ads and everything like that. I remember when the Sims Resource introduced that to their website, which, again, was part of keeping their website alive because it costs money to run a website. And people, just throwing stuff, people, myself included, tore them up for that. And to now see that custom content creators are willingly just putting their stuff behind paywalls and there's no outrage for it is crazy to me. Back in my day, okay, you uploaded your stuff to box.com, free for everybody, and that was it. Maybe you had a Ko-fi, which I don't even know if Ko-fi existed in that capacity back then, but maybe you had, like, a little tip jar. Maybe that was it. But you either hosted your stuff on box.com if you were, a Simbler, or you just uploaded it to Mod The Sims like everybody else. Which, by the way, shout out Mod The Sims. She's been alive. I need to check on her, actually. modthesims.info. Is she still alive? She's still with us. Hallelujah FM. Yeah, and you know what? Back in the day, I donated to Mod The Sims. I think it was only not even $10, but I was doing my part. Donating not to get any kinds of perks, but I was doing my part to keep the community alive, Yeah, copyright 2004. This website has been alive for 20 years, and she has asked nothing from us aside from turning off our ad blocker, but it's whatever. She has asked for nothing, okay? Nothing at all. And we don't deserve Mod The Sims, that's all I'll say. I used to love Mod The Sims, though. Oh my god, the forums. I used to be on those forums, man. The Mod The Sims forums and the DeviantArt forums. I miss, like, just, a BBS style forum. Like, I love that. Yeah. I do quite miss a BBS style forum. Like, we lost our way when we stopped doing the BBS style forums. Like, I love a forum. I mean, we still have Reddit, but Reddit's Reddit, but yeah, bulletin board systems. What happened? What happened? Anywho, I'm done yapping. We're almost at 2 hours. This is a longin'. Hate to say, well, it's fine. You get 2 hours to terrorize your family members by playing this on the on the family living room TV. So, yeah, there you go. Or you've gotten 2 hours away from your family that you don't quite like, or perhaps you're not traveling, you're just by yourself, without family rather, or anyone, and you're just listening to this as 2 hours of a distraction for you. So, yeah. Anywho, speaking of 2 hours, it's my bedtime. I started recording this at 6 o'clock. Well, not 6 p.m., but a little after 6 o'clock. And now it's a little after 8 o'clock. And I need to go to bed because I have to go to work tomorrow. Because I still have to work this week. Only for 2 days. Because I have PTO. Anywho, maybe you're watching this at work because you don't get PTO for the day before Thanksgiving or the day of Thanksgiving, which is so lame. If that is the case for you, I hate that for you. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. This has been the 59th I can't believe I'm almost at 60 episodes of this podcast. Like, that's kind of crazy, right? I feel like we should acknowledge that that's kind of bonkers. Like, I think I'm at what, double the amount of episodes now for this podcast versus my last one, and we're going strong. We just hit 50 subscribers. Well, actually, we're at 52 now, but we recently just hit a milestone, 50 subscribers on the YouTube channel, and I think that's really cool. I don't start out the podcast with subscribe and like the video or anything like that. But if you're listening to this and you listen to this regularly, you could subscribe. Like, I don't post community posts or anything like that. I only post, every other week? Just about. And I do shorts sometimes. So, yeah, you're not going to be bombarded with content is what I'm saying. So if you want to subscribe, that would be cool. Either way, this has been the 59th episode of the Running My Mouth podcast. I've been your host, Aaron. Thank you for allowing me to run my mouth. Follow me on Instagram, because if you're not following me on Instagram, you're only getting half the story. And, hold on, use code, JX10 to get 10% off on eargasm.com. Get yourself a little gift. Get yourself a little something. Get something for your sweetheart. Get something for your enemy. I wouldn't buy gifts for my ops, but maybe you're different. Maybe you're built different. You ever consider that? It's a possibility. And yeah, I folded my clothes, which is good. Big ups to me. I did not put them away, so I need to go put my folded clothes away.